Hi, welcome back to the channel. This lesson is a free sample lesson from our Idioms Gone Ballistic course. In this course, you will learn over 450 common English idioms, as well as some phrasal verbs, slang, and more, through the context of mini stories, just like the one used in this lesson. In the description below, I provided a link to the course on udemy.com, where you can learn more about it. I have also provided a temporary discount code to get the course for $9.99. So, after watching this lesson, if you decide you want many more lessons like it, be sure to check out the course. As Mark takes a bite of his sandwich, he starts to tell the group the story of a barroom brawl he once had. So there I was, sitting in a quiet bar and enjoying a beer alone, when a loudmouth came in and sat next to me. He started running off at the mouth about all of the women he has cheated on his wife with. I just sat there biting my tongue until I finally couldn't take any more. I said, "Zip your lip. I didn't come here to listen to your nonsense." He replied, "Watch your mouth, buddy." I chugged the rest of my beer, stood up and said, "Kiss my ass." Mark pauses to take another bite of his sandwich. "What happened next?" asks a person in the group. "Well, it seemed I bit off a bit more than I could chew," Mark replies and continues the story. When the guy stood up, he was much bigger than he looked sitting down, and he was foaming at the mouth. He grabbed me by the collar of my shirt and threw me onto the floor. Then he started pounding on me. Just when I thought I was gonna bite the big one, someone burst into the bar, grabbed my empty beer bottle, and bashed the guy in the head with it, knocking him out. It was the guy's wife. To start off the story, Mark says, "So there I was." So there I was, or we were, with the word so being optional, is a common way of giving a summary of the situation you're in at a particular point of the story you're telling. An example is, there we were in McDonald's trying to order some burgers when a crazy guy walked in and started screaming. In Mark's story, a loudmouth came into the bar and sat next to him. A loudmouth is someone who talks loudly and excessively, especially about nonsense or offensive things. There's also an adjective form of this, which is loudmouthed. For example, Susan couldn't sleep because her loudmouthed neighbors screamed and cursed at each other all night. Mark says that the guy started running off at the mouth. To run or shoot off at the mouth, to shoot one's mouth off, or to run one's mouth off, with the word off being optional in the third form, means to talk too much and too loudly, especially in a bragging manner. For example, the guy at the gym was shooting off at the mouth about how strong he was. This is also often used when someone talks without discretion, especially about something sensitive or secret. An example of this is, the thieves got caught because one of them ran his mouth to someone at the bar about the crimes they committed, and an off-duty police officer overheard him. The guy told Mark about all of the women he has cheated on his wife with. The phrasal verb to cheat on somebody with somebody, or to mess around on somebody, with the with somebody part being optional, means to be unfaithful to your spouse or partner by secretly being in a sexual or romantic relationship with someone else. For example, Patricia discovered that her husband was cheating on her when she found another woman's underwear in their bedroom. Or, Pete's girlfriend has been messing around on him with his best friend. At first, Mark just sat there biting his tongue. To bite or hold one's tongue means to try very hard to avoid saying something that you really want to say, especially something that might hurt, annoy, or offend the listener. Some examples are, when the professor said something wrong in class, I held my tongue instead of correcting him, because I didn't want to embarrass him. At work, it's often better to bite your tongue than to argue with your coworkers, even if they're stupid. Mark finally got tired of the loudmouth and told him to zip his lip. To zip one's lip, lips, or mouth means to say nothing or to stop talking. For example, the mom told her son to zip his lips or he won't be getting any ice cream. Or, if I tell you a secret, you have to promise to zip your mouth. No one else can know. The guy then told Mark to watch his mouth. To watch one's mouth means to be careful or mindful about what you say in order to avoid saying something offensive. For example, when the student said a bad word in class, the teacher told him to watch his mouth. Or, you must watch your mouth when you're in church. Next, Mark chugged the rest of his beer. To chug a drink means to drink it all quickly and without stopping. For example, during many drinking games, the person who loses must chug his beer. Or, the baseball player chugged a soda, then hurried back to the field. After Mark chugged his beer, he stood up and said, "Kiss my ass." Kiss my ass is an idiom that is used to tell someone that you refuse to do what he wants you to do. For example, when the soldier was ordered to shoot a civilian, he told the officer, "Kiss my ass," and walked away. Or, Cody is always asking me for money, and I finally just told him to kiss my ass and get a job. Also, the word ass in this idiom is considered a bad word, but it can be changed to the word butt. When the guy stood up, Mark realized he bit off more than he could chew. To bite off more than one can chew means to try to do something that is too difficult for you, or to commit to something that you can't fulfill. For example, she bit off more than she could chew when she accepted a job after lying about having the required experience. Or, Frank is currently trying to learn Chinese, German, French, and Spanish. He is clearly biting off more than he can chew. The loudmouth was foaming at the mouth. Sometimes when a dog is angry, foamy saliva will form at his mouth. Similarly, to foam at the mouth means to be extremely angry. Some examples are, Riley foamed at the mouth when his favorite football team lost the game. The mother bear was foaming at the mouth when the hikers came near her cubs. Next, the guy threw Mark to the floor and started pounding on him. The phrasal verb to pound on somebody or something means to hit or beat someone or something hard and repeatedly. Some examples are, the police officers pounded on the door until someone finally opened it. I started pounding on my keyboard when I read the bad news. The boxers continued pounding on each other even after the bell rang. Mark thought he was going to bite the big one. To bite the big one is an informal way of saying to die. For example, the drunk guy jumped into the crocodile-infested water and bit the big one. A similar idiom is to bite the dust. This expression was popularized in old cowboy movies, in which someone who got shot would fall down dead on the dusty ground, therefore biting the dust. Like to bite the big one meaning of to bite the dust is to die, but it usually means more specifically to fall to the ground after being killed by someone. An example of this is, the knife-wielding criminal bit the dust after running towards a police officer. Bite the dust is also commonly used to mean not just death but any kind of failure, such as when someone is defeated in a competition or when something stops working. For example, my old TV finally bit the dust. I guess I have to buy a new one. Or, the karate expert is too fast. Anyone who challenges him quickly bites the dust. At the end of the story, the guy's wife came into the bar and knocked him out with a beer bottle. The phrasal verb to knock somebody out or to knock out somebody means to cause someone to become unconscious or go to sleep. Or in some competitions, to defeat a competitor, forcing him to lead the competition. Some examples are, the kid hit the bully in the head with a stick, knocking him out. The sleeping pills knocked me out within 5 minutes. The soccer team was knocked out of the World Cup.